Hey guys, it's Oluvids, and today we're here to talk about our favorite Axel scenes. Axel or Lee, that works too. So we got submissions from both Twitter and YouTube. This time I'm going to be doing Twitter first since there's less there, and then I'll go over to YouTube and do all the rest of them. So thank you everyone who put their submissions. If you're new, definitely leave a like and subscribe and check through. I'm going to make a playlist of the rest of these. Check through these. You can see all the different ones we've done so far. I'm also going to be experimenting with a new font in this video, so if, it looked a bit different, you'll know why. And for a new person, if it caught your eye, definitely let me know in the comments. Anyway, so let's get over to what people said. So first one we have on Twitter is from That Nobody Daleks, and he says, this whole scene where he realized how great a friend Roxas was and didn't want him to leave. And this is the whole thing where it's showing an expanded version of the part where we see Roxas saying that no one will miss him, and Axel's like, I'll miss him. He already lost Xion at this point, and now he's losing Roxas by Roxas' own choice. He's choosing to leave and defect and just break away, and Axel is losing all his friends again. He already kind of lost Syax. Like, he's kind of cool with them, but they're kind of distant, not as good as they were before. And you could also add another layer to it. You could say that it's also kind of like Ventus, where you never saw him ever again. So it's like, you could even include Subject X. Like, his friends kind of always disappear on him, so it's like, now it's happening again with his new friends, Xion and then Roxas. I mean, yeah, it's going to hurt him a lot. And Roxas, I mean, it's more of a Roxas thing. Roxas not thinking that anyone even really cares about him. Like, he probably just thinks that he's a pawn. But the friendship between Axel and Roxas was real. Thank you for that submission. Next, we got John Conception, and he says, the Kingdom Hearts 3 scene when he talks to Kairi, and specifically when he brought the ice cream, is around when they first were interacting after Kingdom Hearts 2. They had a bit of an awkward introduction there, but now they're sitting down together and they're getting to know each other, and Kairi's seeing that Axel's not really such a bad person after all. He keeps staring at Kairi, but it's mainly because he's kind of sort of trying to remember Xion. She kind of reminds him of Xion, but he also doesn't know that because he doesn't have the memory of Xion is just missing, but he's like, something there is very familiar. And it's also nice to see Kairi turning her opinion of him around, because last time she met him, he kidnapped her, so she wasn't exactly enthused about teaming up with him and training with him, but they get to know each other, they get closer over time, and now they're cool with each other. He also says, when he remembers Xion and almost cries, so Kairi tells him not to hold back in sparring. The way I see it, she knows how he feels, so she gives him permission to let loose and let his feelings out. And yeah, like, Kairi is trying to help him out too. Like, he's having a bit of a vulnerable moment, and Kairi's okay with that. She's, not judging him for it or anything like that. And I think it also kind of struck a chord with him, because that's the same thing that Xion said, and he vaguely remembers hearing that, and it's like, why am I crying because of that? What's going on? Like, why am I reacting this way? I wonder if we'll see actually more of them in, Kingdom Hearts 4, Axel and Kairi's friendship. We'll see. Next we have Andrew, or the One of Chaos 4, and he showed Axel sacrificing Kingdom Hearts 2. And it was a pretty cool scene. Sora and Axel were now teaming up, where originally they were sort of enemies or adversaries, rivals. Axel's only trying to help, but of course Sora doesn't know that. He just sees anyone from the organization as an enemy. And so there's a ton of nobodies around. They're surrounded. And then Axel's like, don't worry, I can handle this. And he goes in and nukes the entire place. And Sora kind of like has his look on his face like, whoa, wow, that's pretty cool. Only for him to see Axel down on the floor dying. And Axel starts to talk about how he was kind of following Sora around and talking to him because he wanted to see Roxas, because he made him feel like he actually had a heart. He even gained the respect of Sora at that point, who we've seen throughout the game kind of like is very antagonistic towards nobodies. Maybe it could be a bit of Roxas, but I do like to think that Sora also gained respect for at least Axel. And he's like, you could tell yourself, like, you're gonna make it, and unfortunately he doesn't make it, but one last hurrah for Axel to help Roxas/Sora out. Thank you for that submission. Next we have Final Mix, and he says, the last couple of days before Roxas leaves the organization, he and Axel's friendship crumbles when Roxas keeps pressing him for the truth about him and Xion. Can't take my eyes off those final confrontations. And so yeah, it's a very sad in days to see how these three completely tightly knit best friends drifting apart, because Axel's been keeping secrets from them. Axel and the entire organization has been keeping secrets because these guys are mainly just being used to collect hearts. That's their main purpose. And Xion is an artificially created being to help release more of the hearts and double the work that Roxas is trying to do. Xion has just chosen to take a different path, but Roxas kind of doesn't trust him anymore, because, I mean, he doesn't know who to trust, who's telling him the truth, and he wants to find it himself. Axel's trying to let him know that, like, he really is his friend, he really does care about him, but, I mean, with all these things happening and the organization's true intentions, it was bound to happen at some point. Alright, so those were the Twitter submissions. Thank you, everyone. Next, we got the YouTube side, which we have more responses here. And the first one we have is Ignis Flame YT, or YouTube. And he says, for me, it would be a tie between the moment where he meets Ventus again in Cage 3. I really like that scene too. And the scene where Axel, Lee, Roxas, and Xion are reunited in the Keyblade Graveyard again during Kingdom Hearts 3. Some honorable mentions for me, it would be when he was in his new outfit with Roxas, Xion, Tax, Isa, Hainer, Pence, and Olette during the credits of Kingdom Hearts 3. And also the time he destroyed Vexen and the iconic 2 line from Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh wow, hey look, he said 2 just like the title of the game. Anyway, the part where he meets Ventus again actually was like one of the parts in Kingdom Hearts 2 that made me smile, because I wasn't expecting it, but it was nice, you know, because we have this whole scene where everyone's like actually kind of knows each other. Kairi actually met Aqua before, Riku met Aqua before, and a lot of people met Aqua. And we have Ventus and Sora being connected, and all these different things. And Axel's like, okay, where do I even fit in? Like, everyone seems to know everyone, each other. Except for me, I'm just here. I'm just some random guy, I guess. And Ventus, without missing a beat, is like, sorry, Lee. Like, Ventus already knew who he was. And Axel was saying that he always tells people to remember because he wants to live forever, you know. As long as people always remember him, then in his eyes, he'll live forever. And I mean, it seems to have worked. Even as a kid, as he was running around his frisbee, it worked. He left a strong enough impression for Ventus after all these years to know exactly who he is, despite him being over 10 years older now. And then, of course, we have the scene where the Days trio gets back together. They're like breaking down and crying because, I mean, they've been separated. They just wanted to be friends, and they got separated by Life, aka Xehanort. It was just nice to see them together again, especially after everything in Days. Thank you for that. Next, we have Thunder of Dark Cloud, and he says, for me, it has to be when he has 3 ice creams on top of the tower in Kingdom Hearts 3 before the end of the game, but he doesn't know why. Axel knows one is for Roxas, but he can't explain why he feels the need to have a third with him. Seeing him struggle with lost memories based on a feeling he has just shows how much Roxas and Xion mean to him. And yeah, so especially in Kingdom Hearts 3, mainly in Kingdom Hearts 3, there's a lot of moments where he is thinking about Xion. I mean, I guess that's probably because Kingdom Hearts 2 was made before Days, so he didn't have any scenes where he's thinking about Xion there, but 3 capitalizes on that. And Sylas comes in, he's like, oh, what is that for me? And he just comes in and takes it, but it's not for him, it's for Xion. And funnily enough, Sylas probably actually knows this because they read the files in terms of the organization, but Axel doesn't know, and he probably figured that Axel's going to figure it out in time once they bring Xion to the battlefield. Considering that now Xion is a part of the canon after Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, it makes sense to kind of have a bit of acknowledgement there as well. Next, we have Rox 13 Productions, and he says, there are plenty of scenes, but I'll just go with him and DDD, like saving Sora, especially his reaction to spawning a Keyblade. Also in Days when he makes it possible for Roxas and Xion to go to missions together until Xion can summon her Keyblade. That's just lovely. Oh, and lastly, Axel and Dream Drop Distance was a pretty interesting case because, I mean, this was him trying to fully complete his redemption in terms of switching over to the good guy side, leaving the organization and helping out Sora and them. He was actually really important with saving Sora from the organization because Riku and Mickey were down, and Xehanort did his little Mega Destruction, Dark Ball of Destruction and Darkness, and Axel is the one that blocks it. He stops Sora from being Norded, and he's able to hold them off for a bit. Obviously, Donald and Goofy come in later also, and that helps them out. But if he wasn't there, then Sora would have gotten Norded, and that would have been a very awkward Kingdom Hearts 3 with him being on their side. Me personally, I'm iffy on him using a Keyblade, but the way he summoned a Keyblade was just like I don't know if he did that on purpose or if he really genuinely like accidentally just summoned it like that for the first time. And he's just like, oh, okay, I guess I figured it out, guys. Look, check it out. Even Master Yen-Sid was shocked. It was a pretty funny scene, and especially Yen-Sid's reaction was pretty funny. Next, we have Axel, and he says, random scene, but in the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, where Roxas still doesn't recognize him, but says otherwise. And Axel gets so excited that Roxas finally remembers him, then disappears just as quickly. It's just really cute, and it shows how much he cares about fake Ven. No, we're not doing that. Anyway, so Rox is just like, I guess I'll play along. I'll just say, yeah, I know who you are. We're best friends. And Axel's like, yo, finally you remember. Let's go. And then it turns out that Roxas was just lying. He was like, what's our boss's name? And he was like, I don't know, man. And Axel's like, oh, okay, so you just lied. All right. He just wanted him to remember, at the very least, to be able to talk to his best friend one last time. Yeah, it was pretty nice. And it's just Roxas didn't understand at that point in time. Alright, so next we have Hyperami Nanashi, and he says, I gotta give it to Axel axing Vexen in Chain of Memories. Major reason is it shows his initial rogue personality to just assassinate any traitors of the organization, and shows how nobodies really could be deplorable and evil because they literally can't feel, shut up DDD, their emotions. It also really helps parallel my second favorite scene, which is in the Betwixt and the Between fight that leads to his sacrifice, and is the climax of him finally, slowly starting to feel emotions again as a human, and in his last moments decided to do something that he feels is right. And so I agree, Axel being an assassin sounds wrong, but I like seeing Axel be an assassin. It kind of adds a bit of edge, first of all, to Kingdom Hearts, and like a bit of edge to the organization. Again, Chain of Memories is the first introduction of the organization, and that shows you how hardcore these guys are. These guys do not tolerate traitors. They send Axel out here to assassinate them, and he does it, and he's just casual about it. He's like, sure, whatever, cool, I'll just burn this guy alive. I mean, okay, it doesn't look as bad as it sounds, but yeah, he just does it. And even Sora's reaction also adds to that scene, because he's like, what even are you people? Like, what? You just casually murdered your partner. Like, I don't know if he, he probably doesn't know if they're friends or not really friends, but he just casually murdered your partner when, you're on the same side without a second thought. And honestly, Chain of Memories is really good. I gotta make a video about it at some point, because it's just like, you see a lot of things in there that aren't in any other Kingdom Hearts game, and I don't know if it's ever going to be in any other one, but Assassin Axel is just pretty cool in general. Next we have Cafe's Corner, and he says, you kidding? Do you know how popular I am? Got loads of people rooting for me. Sorry boss, no one acts as Axel. Got it memorized? This is definitely a nod to how popular a character he is amongst fans, and really, who else could have pulled off a line like that? And honestly, yeah, like Axel has a lot of fans, and yeah, that was kind of a funny line. Like, in universe, he could be talking about all the Guardians of Light, but then like you just know that he's talking about the fandom. Like, I don't even know why, you just know. I mean, unfortunately, he does get beat up, but I mean, Axel is not gonna give up in the face, especially against Xemnas. I mean, he doesn't work for him anymore. Anyway, thank you, Cafe's Corner, for that. Next, we have Cloudshine, who said the same as Nanashi with him snapping Vexen out of existence. To be fair, I wouldn't say he's on no one's side, because technically that is an act of being on the organization side. He technically was always on the organization side in terms of that game. I know what you mean. Like, in terms of Sora's perspective, he's just like, okay, these guys are completely unpredictable. One moment they're trying to fight me, next moment they're killing their own guys. It's just cool. I mean, it's just cool. Next we have Night Oblivion, who says, the scene where he confronts Shion in front of the old mansion. He was so tired of seeing his friends escape so many times, and was scared of her getting killed for it because he cared about her. He didn't care if he had to hurt her, he was determined to bring her back. Same for Roxas. He showed up many times to bring her back, because he too could have been killed. Because he couldn't complete his mission, he ran away. Because if he didn't complete his mission, he would have been turned into a dusk, which he tried to avoid. And yeah, I mean, he doesn't want them to die. He's like, the organization is going to destroy you if you quit, if you defect and all that kind of stuff. You're gone. Not even a dust. You're just going to be dead. At that point, any means necessary to bring them back. He will fight them to the death to bring them back. And not to the death, but again, pretty sad to see the, this friendship trio end up getting broken apart because of Xehanort and life and all of that. Next we have Chrysalis Wyvern, and he says the scene with Kyrie and Lee just chilling out in the forest. Kind of hilarious to think there's the same guy throwing Bond of Flame and fire chakrams around like he's half mad. Yeah, no, Axel's honestly a pretty chill guy. Like, I mean, in Chain of Memories, I mean, okay, sure, he burned Vexen alive, and he seemed like he was willing to cut through Naminé to get the Marluxia, but like, when you get to know him, he's a pretty chill dude. He just likes to chill out and eat ice cream, honestly. He's just trying to remember, A, trying to remember Shion, and B, just trying to make amends with Kyrie after kidnapping her. Yeah, so there's that. Thank you, Chrysalis Wyvern, for that submission. Next, we have Israel Silva, and he says Axel talking to Roxas after the death scene in Kingdom Hearts 2. Now, yeah, that's actually a pretty good scene. This is like his final goodbye. I guess you could say this is like their hearts talking, and gets to chill out with Roxas, and Roxas, has his memories, of course. He gets to chill out with him one last time before he moves on to the next life. Even if they didn't come back in Kingdom Hearts 3, that'll still be a good scene, because, it's them, despite, things not working out fully. I mean, they got to talk to each other at the very least one last time. He said he wanted to see Roxas, and he saw Roxas. Next, we have Tongue Xehanort. I don't want to know what Xehanort does with his tongue. Everybody knows everybody, and it's so much to get memorized. Bloop bloop. Now who? Jiminy Cricket. Yeah, funny scene, and yeah, Axel can kind of be a comedy guy these days. This is probably also the first time he met Jiminy Cricket. Like, I don't think he knew that there was just a cricket chilling out in Sora's hoodie this entire time. Actually, I kind of want to see Axel interact with Disney characters more often now that I think about it. Next, we have Luke the Lammeter, and he says, you let them reduce you to this, and you both think you can do whatever you want. I'm sick of it. You keep running, I'll always be there to bring you back. Again, more scenes of Axel bringing his friends back because he wants them to be safe. And XRS has the same exact thing with the, you think you can do whatever you want. He's like, okay, bro, you guys, like, yeah, stop just doing all this crazy stuff. There's going to be consequences for it, meaning death, most likely. You can't just be doing whatever you want. I think he probably understands them, but he's trying to save them from those consequences, though unfortunately, he's unable to do that. Next, we have young Mango with his death in Kingdom Hearts 2 and him as a kid in BBS. So I already talked about his death in Kingdom Hearts 2 a lot, but we could talk about him in Birth by Sleep. And so he is this kid walking around with Isa, and he's got his little frisbees. He's trying to tell everyone to remember him. Name's Lee, get it memorized. He's like, hey, you, I want to fight. And he just does all this stuff to get people to remember him. And we see his reasoning for why he always says get it memorized in terms of like himself at the very least is because he wants to always be remembered, because if you're always remembered, then you'll never die in terms of his philosophy. And I mean, yeah, it does pay off in Kingdom Hearts 3. Ven remembers him instantly. Thank you, young Mango, for that submission. Next, we have Lisa Lemmings with the list again. Any scenes with Roxas and Xion, his death in Kingdom Hearts 2, Kairi and Axel in 3, and the reunion in Kingdom Hearts 3. We talked about all those already, but yeah, I mean, all around, Axel is really good. I'm not really sure if there's any really, like, bad Axel scenes, like, unless you want to count him getting beat up in the graveyard. Which, I mean, honestly, he was pretty outclassed in terms of, like, Terranort. Now it's down to my favorite Axel scene. And I gotta say, it is the Assassin Axel going in and taking out Vexen. I've already talked about it, but, like, I mean, to this day, people are still going to be talking about that scene. To this day, people still talk about the fact that he did that, because that's pretty wild. I'm not even going to lie. Like you don't expect something like that from Kingdom Hearts. And, like, I'm pretty sure people who don't play Kingdom Hearts would be pretty surprised to see that there's a scene where a guy burns someone alive and kills him. Like, I think of Axel, and, like, of course, I think of all the scenes with him and his friends, but that scene sticks out so much because of the fact that that kind of stuff very rarely happens in the series. Him in the entirety of Chain of Memories is pretty entertaining. Like, he's very dangerous, but I mean, you also don't know what you don't fully know what he wants, you know. Like, later on we learn that, okay, yeah, he was an agent for the organization, taking out the traitors and all that, but at the beginning you really don't know what he wants. You don't know what he's doing, and you can't trust him, and he's very dangerous. But of course, I do also like the scenes where he is with his friends. As I said, I like the scenes with him and Roxas and Xion, but just that's something. Anyway, thank you guys for all your submissions in this video. I appreciate, again, I'm so glad that, you know, people are enjoying this. People seem to really like to participate in this, so of course I'll be keeping this series up. Next is, of course, gonna be Roxas, so I think that should be a pretty good one. And it's probably, I'm guessing it's gonna be a really long one because it's Roxas. I mean, it's Roxas. Anyway, so yeah, so thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. If you're new, definitely like, subscribe. I mean, hey, welcome, and I hope you end up enjoying all my different videos. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys next time.